There is no way that Draymond Green just said this about Pelle Larsson, our Pelle Larsson, the same second-year guard who's been turning heads all season long, who's really developing and coming to his own, who looks absolutely amazing for the Miami Heat. And with all the news about trading, who's coming, who's going, do the Miami Heat actually want Ja Morant, or do they want to focus on Giannis Antetokounmpo? It's been Pelle Larsson, who a lot of fans think is the reason why the team wants to focus more on Giannis, as he's looking like a premier guard down the road for the Heat as long as he continues to improve. But the other day, against the Sacramento Kings, where we had a massive win over them, Pelle Larsson had himself an amazing performance, very efficient from the floor, played excellent defense, did get into an altercation with Demar Derozan, which did result in him getting kicked out of the game. But then Draymond Green had the nerve to hop on his podcast and had a lot of negative things to say about Pelle Larsson, which makes no sense coming from him of all people. So in this video, we're going to take a look at Draymond Green, see what he said about Pelle Larsson, was it actually warranted, as well as we are going to take a look at Larson and see how well he's been playing lately. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Heat Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Heat related. And before we get to all the news today, this video has been brought to you by Kalshi. And if you download it using the link below and enter code DIGESTNBA, you'll get $20 when you trade your first 100. Kalshi is the largest prediction market in the US. On their platform, you can trade yes, no on real-life events. Sports, elections, news, and pretty much everything. And whether you're in California, Texas, or anywhere else across the country, Kalshi is live in all 50 states. For sports fans, trade on game outcomes, playoff chances, or player performances, all on a regulated market where you can cash out anytime. Who will Ja Morant's next team be? Will he stay in Memphis or retire or possibly go to Miami? Place your predictions and cash out big with Kalshi. And don't forget to use code DIGESTNBA for an extra $20 when you make your first 100. Thank you, Kalshi, for sponsoring this video. But Draymond Green is a very, very interesting player who has had a very, very interesting career, where some players will argue that yes, Draymond Green is dirty, where I guess some players, most likely his teammates, would argue no, he just does the dirty work, but that doesn't mean that he's a dirty player. However, our own player, Pelle Larsson, has been having an excellent season all season long. And against the Sacramento Kings just the other day, he put on an amazing performance, putting up 16 points, about 7 out of 9 from the floor, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, as well as 1 steal. And like I said, he had a very efficient game on the offensive end, and on the defensive end, he was a lockdown defender, able to grab 6 boards and 1 steal. In his second year, Larson is turning heads. He's really starting to come into his own and is looking like the future guard for this team. And I know a lot of Heat fans are getting a little bit tired of Tyler Hero and maybe several other players on the team. But when you look at the young core of the Miami Heat team, Larson is definitely a part of that young core. I mean, he's improving from his first year to his second year. The coaches trust him, as Coach Spo had a lot to say about Larson after the win against the Kings. And this is what Spo had to say about Pelle, saying Pelle just continues to grow. He's doing a lot more playmaking now, but he brought a force to the game on both sides of the court that just kind of becomes contagious. And that resonates with Heat culture. That is the starting point of what Heat culture is. Someone who can do a lot more playmaking, but also is a force on, brings a force to the game on both sides of the court. And obviously, when other teams or other teammates see that, then they also want to do the same thing. Leading by example, that's something that Pelle is starting to do now. And down the road, whenever he is a more focal point of this team, when he's a starting guard and in charge of winning games for us, it's that type of leadership and that type of mentality which will help this team make many more trips to the finals and get more wins down the road. But the future is untold. But when it comes to Pelle Larsson, he's been playing phenomenal. But like I said, the other day against the Sacramento Kings, there was an incident where things got pretty chippy between Pelle and Demar Derozan. And we're going to show you that footage right here. The other day against Sacramento Kings, as Pelle was ready to throw down a big dunk, boom, foul by Demar Derozan. He hits the ground, but quickly he approaches Demar just to ask, hey man, what's going on? I try to go up for a lay, maybe a little dunk. You hooked me right here across the face. And then he got in DeMar's face. Things got a little chippy. No punches were thrown. They were quickly separated. But it was DeMar DeRozan that got ejected. And it was the Miami Heat that walked away with the win. But like I said, Draymond Green on his own podcast had a lot to say about Pelle. And honestly, it was completely out of pocket. If we take a look at the quote from Draymond Green says he's not a dirty player and calls out Pelle Larsson and European players for being dirty. I don't do dirty things. There's not a player in the NBA who can tell you Draymond is a dirty player. There are a lot of Europeans who do dirty stuff on the basketball court. And this is a prime example of the pot calling the kettle black. Draymond Green is the most unaware individual in the entire NBA. You're not a dirty player. No other player would say you're a dirty player. Obviously, your teammates wouldn't call you a dirty player. Maybe say he does all the dirty work. But Draymond Green, there are compilation videos of all the dirty plays that you have done. And we may have to take a look at some right now. If we take a look at some of just these wonderful plays by Draymond Green, where he's putting players in headlocks, he's putting them in chokeholds, he's swinging on players. Obviously, he wants to step on a few, throw a few punches at his own teammates, kicking Steven Adams time and time again. Poor Steven Adams. Just the kicking, the hitting, the shoving. Draymond Green, you're not a dirty player. You're not that type of guy. You think the Europeans are worse than you? If anything, if you've watched Draymond Green throughout the entirety of his career, he's doing that mostly to European players. He barely does anything to any other American players. He's almost strictly doing this to the European players, which is just absolutely insane. But when it comes to Pelle Larsson, he's not a dirty player. Does he get chippy? Does he stand on business? Does he make sure that no one tries to punk him? Absolutely. There's an altercation a few games before against the Phoenix Suns where things got a little chippy between him and Devin Booker, but he didn't back down. He didn't punk out. If anything, he stood on business. His team backed him up, and look at where we're at now. Pelle Larsson, like I said, a young guard in his second year. He's turning heads. He's playing good basketball. If we take a look at his averages for this year, they speak for himself. Now, second-year player, his averages look kind of average. However, when you watch him play recently, it's a completely different story. But for the season, he's averaging 9.5 points, 2.9 rebounds, 3.2 assists, while shooting 47.1% from the floor, 31.7% from three, and 73.9% from the free throw line, 0.6 steals, 0.2 blocks, 0.9 turnovers, and 1.9 fouls per game. And like I said, the season averages don't really tell the full story, but if you've been watching lately, it's Pelle Larsson who's been just doing all the right things for this Heat team to help us get these wins, whether it's in a big fashion like against the Sacramento Kings where he had an amazing night, or in a smaller fashion coming off the bench on some occasions, but always providing the right mentality to approach these games. But as far as Draymond Green and what he had to say about Pelle Larsson being a dirty player, that's Draymond Green. He'll say that about literally any European player, but will never hold himself accountable. Pelle Larsson is not a dirty player. Is he a tough player? Does he want to be respected on the court and not allow other players to do him dirty? Even if someone like Demar Derozan, who obviously fouls him so he has to go to the line, wasn't really trying to hurt him, but regardless, is he going to let a player like Demar do that? Absolutely not. And because of that, that's why he won the game. He plays with the right mentality. He knows all the right plays. He knows what to do, and he's trusted by his coaches and his teammates. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you agree with Draymond Green that Pelle Larsson's a dirty player and a lot of these other European players are just dirty too? Or do you think Draymond Green needs to have a long look in the mirror and see if he is the European player that he thinks exists in the NBA today? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. We can have a conversation about it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. And as always, y'all take care. Drink water. Peace.